have ever seen.
All that matters is us leaving here with a dub, man. Let's go.
We've got the keys to a triumph for both sides of this battle. Russell Wilson and Stephon Diggs make their picks for Sunday, and Hall of Famer Kurt Warner has a message for Aaron Rodgers. This is where champions come to be counted. This is NFL Total Access. Welcome to NFL Total Access at the Super Bowl. We are presented by CDW. I'm your host, MJ Acosta-Ruiz. Just 3 days to Super Bowl 55. Maurice Jones-Drew is in studio with me tonight. Willie McGinnis and Kurt Warner, they're holding things down for us in Tampa. We have 2 full hours of football fun ahead. Now, this is the point in the week, MJD, you know this, things start to get real, and we'll guide you through all of it. The Bucs were on the practice field getting their final preparations in, and good news for their receiving core. Antonio Brown was a full participant today. Tom Brady will need him because he's aware of the challenges ahead. Here's head coach.
This is a game that's really going to challenge us. This team is a very tough team to beat. You know, they haven't been beaten in a long time. Got a great offense, got a great defense, really well coached, very good on special teams. So just try to chill on Sunday, you know, get your body, you know, mentally, physically, be in a good place to go out there and compete and get ready for a great game. So it's a long game. It's a hard game. You know, it's a long day, but you got to be ready when the ball's kicked off. And we're going to be challenged. They're going to challenge us, and we got to go answer the challenge.
All right, the guys are ready to dive into this one. And Kurt, you actually spoke with both quarterbacks today. So how are Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes approaching this game?
Well, I tell you what, MJ, you know, they approach the game very much like they play the game. Right. You know, when I was talking to Patrick Mahomes, you know, I was asking him about all the fun plays that they like to run and where do those come from? And he said, yeah, there's times in practice where me and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill go over on the sideline and we practice these moves. Then we run over to Andy Reid and see if we can get him in the game plan. But it's kind of how Patrick Mahomes is. He's a young guy. He's loose. He's free. That's how the interview was. And then, Willie, you know how Tom Brady is. He's very businesslike. He's very reserved, and the interview was, hey, I got business to take care of. Right. This is a business trip for me. My wife and my family have been out of town for a while. I'm watching film. I'm grinding because, hey, yes, it's my 10th one, but I want to win this one.
Absolutely. And he's locked in. His mindset is a certain way. And when you talk to him, you can't get him off his game. You can't talk about the past Super Bowls. You can't talk about the accolades, what's going on. No. You can't talk about nothing besides preparation, his opponent, the defense, the offense, the struggles, the things he's going to face, and the football game. I know you tried.
I tried to get him a little bit. Give me a little something. But, again, that's what makes him great is that it's all the way through the Super Bowl, and then maybe he'll let his guard down a little bit.
Right.
All right, and MJD, we were actually talking about this a little bit earlier. The Bucs defense has a chance here to attack the Chiefs' banged-up offensive line. But, Willie, if you're JPP and Jack Barrett, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I'm excited, MJ, and the reason why I'm excited is because you got 3, possibly 4 offensive linemen that are going to be playing new positions. You got a new left tackle. The center's going to be different than the right tackle. So when guys are learning or going into a new position that they haven't been playing all year long, they give away tendencies. They give away little things because they want to be comfortable. They don't want to make a bad play. So maybe the stands may be a little different. Maybe a lot of pressure on their hands when it's run versus pass, less pressure. Which foot is up? If they're in the 2-point stand versus all the way down in the dirt, they give away tendencies because they don't want to make a mistake in the biggest games. And if they're the backup and they're not the original starter there, you got guys like JPP, Vita Vea, and Shaq Barrett that's saying, I'm going to get my man. I got the advantage. Just give me the one-on-one and let me go. And Todd Bowles might even bring pressure with the linebackers, the Mike Will, so they have to be one-on-one with those edge guys. So I expect to see these guys excited in the pass rush, and I expect Todd Bowles to throw a lot of different things to confuse these guys because they haven't been there all year long.
Well, I think you're exactly right. When you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, the one weakness they have is all the injuries to the offensive line. And I think the no risky, no biscuit goes more to the defense than does the offense. I think defensively, you want to send pressure. Rush 5 and 6 guys every play. You want to hit Patrick Mahomes. You want to get him off schedule. You may press sometimes. You may play off. You may bracket sometimes. But you want to try to hit guys. This Bucs defense had 17 QB hits throughout the playoffs. I'm saying, and Kurt, close your ears here, because I know quarterbacks don't like to hear this, but you're going to hit Patrick Mahomes at least 15 times. He's going to have to pick himself up off the ground at least 15 times in this game in order to have an opportunity. If he can sit back and stay clean, it's going to be a tough day for these DBs on the back end.
But MJD, I mean, that's the pick your poison, right? It sounds really good. Let's bring 5. Let's leave holes on the back end.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes can get the ball out as quick as anybody. He sees the field. And so I like what you're talking about, Willie, because what they've had so much success with, and especially last week against 2 backup tackles with the Green Bay Packers, was rushing 4, leaving 7 guys back in coverage so you can't get the big play. That, to me, is going to be the key in this game. If you've got to bring extra guys to get pressure, it could be a long day for this Tampa Bay Bucs defense.
And, Kurt, if you do bring pressure, what's important that a lot of defenses do not do against the Chiefs because they are afraid of the speed, they do not jam the receivers. If you do not jam the receivers to give the pressure time to get there, you definitely don't have a chance. So don't be scared. Get up in their face, jam them, disguise, whatever you got to do, but throw off the timing.
Yeah, but did you see the last game when they played? When they tried to press them? I'm just saying.
All right, there's layers to this, obviously, and we'll be getting into more of those later on in the show. Willie and Kurt will be checking in with you throughout the show from Tampa. The Chiefs were also putting in work today, of course. Winter weather forced the team inside, so the pool report says it was a full practice, including Sammy Watkins and Lev Bell, who were listed as limited, but were observed working on the field with their teammates. Here's Coach Andy Reid on some play calling fun.
We try to have fun with it the best we can, and everybody contributes. I've got some really good coaches, assistant coaches. You guys know that. I've got players that have chipped in on plays, and they have a blast with it. And so I've always encouraged that throughout my career, and I don't want to stop because I'm old. I want to keep that going, try to do it a little bit better. And so that's what we do. We try to stay creative and try to have some fun with it.
Jeff Chadia is in Tampa covering the Chiefs now. The team arrives there Saturday. They're practicing in KC, as we saw until then. But, Jeff, what has Eric Bieniemy meant to Patrick Mahomes' success in all of this?
Well, Patrick can't say enough about Eric Bieniemy, MJ, and it's really because as much as people talk about Andy Reid and what he's meant to this offense and this team's success, Mahomes said Eric Bieniemy has meant just as much to his success. He says when it comes down to dealing with pass protection, Bieniemy's been the guy who's helped him get up to speed on this stuff. When it comes to unscouted looks, unscouted blitzes, things they don't prepare for, Eric Bieniemy's the guy who gets Patrick Mahomes right and ready to go. That comes down to Bieniemy's film study, his preparation, his leadership. And look, it sounds like Mahomes is making a commercial for Bieniemy to be a head coach, and we all know that that's been a big storyline around the Chiefs. But in a game like this, where pass protection is going to be so huge, Eric Bieniemy can have a huge impact on the way Mahomes plays in this game.
Jeff, can you just imagine being inside Eric Bieniemy's head, knowing that your QB is Patrick Mahomes? Unreal. All right, Jeff, thanks. And listen, the fact that we're even preparing for a Super Bowl on Sunday during a pandemic is amazing, an accomplishment that Commissioner Roger Goodell proudly honored today.
This was a year where we were all challenged, we all had to adapt, and we had to find innovative solutions to challenges. And I couldn't be prouder that the NFLPA and the NFL worked together in, I think, unprecedented fashion to be able to find those solutions together. So it's been a lot of change, but it's also rewarding on that front. And the sacrifices that our players and coaches and everyone made, their families, is just extraordinary, and we're really proud to be here.
Let's get some more on the commissioner and his annual address with our NFL insider, Ian Rappaport. Ian, what did the commissioner have to say about the lessons learned during the pandemic season that could extend into next year and even beyond?
Well, it certainly seems like a lot of the things that happened out of necessity for the NFL this past spring are going to be part of the NFL offseason going forward. Specifically, what Roger Goodell said, MJ, is that the virtual part of the offseason is going to be a part of their lives. And this is probably a good sign for players. And so many players are frustrated over year after year after year of having to return to the cities where their teams are, take part in some conditioning and weightlifting in April and in May, and they'd just rather be somewhere else. Players take care of their bodies so well now, they don't need to be in the team facilities. Sounds like the virtual part of the offseason, which include virtual meetings over Zoom, are probably going to resume this offseason, where players won't need to be in the cities where their teams are. That is a good sign. You're probably going to see some passing camps and mini camps going forward, but that was the big thing from Roger Goodell. The virtual part of this is probably going to last, and I could say for players and for coaches who enjoy the back and forth on Zooms, that's probably a positive.
Yeah, get yourself a good background, because those video calls aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
Now, Ian, what are you hearing about the Eagles, though, and if they're accepting any offers for Carson Wentz?
Yeah, once we saw the big quarterback trade with Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff swapping teams, all of a sudden the focus shifted to who's the next quarterback going to be traded. It is possible that Carson Wentz is the next one. We'll see where this goes, but from what I understand, the Philadelphia Eagles are receiving phone calls from teams trying to trade for Carson Wentz. And, we've seen situations where that's happened. Teams are calling on quarterbacks. It happened for the Houston Texans. They are not taking those calls for Deshaun Watson. From what I understand, the Eagles are at least engaging in those calls from teams interested in Carson Wentz. It's going to take a lot. The Eagles do plan on him being on the roster for 2021. But the right offer could change that. Got about a month to go to the start of the league year. We'll be tracking the future of Carson Wentz very closely.
All right, they might take that call, but it better be worthwhile. Ian Rappaport, thank you. And still to come on NFL Total Access, MJD never disappoints. And sure enough, he's got another hot take on the way. This time, it's about a totally unexpected Super Bowl pass catcher